Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Mastering the Customer Experience, how ServiceMaster optimizes online journeys and increases conversions through behavioral visualization and testing. So without further ado, take it away, Meira.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Meira Farber, and I head the customer success team here at Clicktale. For the past 5 years, I've worked hand in hand with Clicktale's customers, trying to overcome the struggles in optimization and understanding user interaction by integrating with Clicktale as well as other optimization tools that you're probably already using, web analytics such as Adobe, Voice of Customer, and A/B testing tools like Maxymiser. Today, I'd like to talk about how you too can master digital experience by using A/B and multivariate testing tools as well as Clicktale's customer experience monitoring solution. So what is Clicktale? Clicktale is a digital experience management solution. And what it does is help you pinpoint customer struggle within your conversion funnel caused by experience issues by showing you the exact user interaction that took place on any given page or within any session, which allows you to diagnose why that struggle occurred and then correct it. What is actually happening on the page? We know how many people are landing there, and we even know when they click on a call to action or different links. But what are they doing in the interim? Why does the customer click, or definitely more essential, not click on that call to action? Using Clicktale's behavioral experience solution, coupled with our consulting experts dedicated to analyzing those areas in need of work, we provide unparalleled insights into consumer behavior, needs, and intent. These are some of our many already satisfied customers leveraging Clicktale data to create meaningful experiences for their online customers. One of the key advantages of Clicktale is the ability to integrate with external tools, which can add another layer of insight into the already robust platform, creating a working ecosystem for your website optimization program. This optimization cycle combines multiple efforts, and we all know that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Clicktale's ability to connect with other tools in the sphere helps enhance data-driven testing programs, and this is how we raise the bar. Having this strategic testing methodology helps you close the gaps between analytics and testing and create the perfect cycle in which you are understanding experience, building a hypothesis, testing those versions, understanding why a certain version won over the other, making changes, and then starting over. Quick and effective. With that being said, what is the value that Clicktale brings to a test-oriented organization? Eliminating the guesswork as to where we would start testing. As you know, sometimes the hardest part of any kind of optimization is knowing what questions to ask. I feel your pain. You are most definitely not alone. Over the past years, one of the most common questions raised by customers is how to move from testing based on data rather than gut feelings. So what Clicktale does is allow you to focus your test investments where they'll have the utmost impact. Where are your customers struggling? Which customers are struggling? Which elements are diverting customers from completing a purchase? Having visibility into exact user segment behavior on the page minimizes that uncertainty of what to test. So let's get a little more practical, starting from the aggregate level of the analyses. How do we actually do this? What we're seeing here is a mouse move heat map comparing between two pages. The heat map allows us to understand which areas on the page are engaging your users, specifically the mouse movement. In this example, we see two versions of the same page. The difference on the page is only the model. On the left, we have a male, on the right, a female. Everything else is alike. As you can tell, the focus is a bit shifted from one to the other. The left-hand side is focused a little more on the left-hand call to action, while the heat map on the right has a higher focus level on the right-hand call to action. More specifically, the side-by-side heat maps that you're seeing, while extremely straightforward, can show me an in-depth analysis of different segments and how their interaction compares with each other. By seeing this, I can understand better what worked, what didn't, and why. Is there a difference between male and female users, new versus returning guests, weekend versus weekday browsers? This feature is allowing you to decide what to test by seeing what customers are paying attention to and what elements are being ignored or are maybe even distracting to the visitors. Now this is a great way to get the big picture, aggregate data analysis. But what about digging deeper and understanding the more personal level of things, the more granular level? This is done easily by drilling down from the heat map user group into the session replay. Let's see what a session replay looks like on a travel website. We see this customer land on the homepage, and right off the bat, we can see him looking at the trip type areas. Is his type not there? He's scrolling up and down. He seems to be looking for something, doesn't really find it. Maybe it's the price. Seems to click it, nothing happens. Back and forth. He seems pretty lost. What we're doing here is really visualizing the customer experience and honing in on your user's true intent. Watch the customer as they browse the page. As we just saw together, what is distracting him, what is motivating her. By getting this granular level look into the session replay, you're ultimately getting the full picture into the intent and experience of each customer in your homepage, product area, checkout, drop-down menus. From my experience, it usually takes no more than about 5 to 10 session replays to really understand a specific segment behavior on a page. This process helps me validate the hypotheses I created based on the general trend on the page which we saw in the heat map in our last slide. Another great way to use the session replay is when your tests are already running in order to validate that the variations are working as intended. This can be done immediately after the first visitors experience your test. This lets you take corrective action if needed and protect yourself against potential lost testing time and expenses. By leveraging visual evidence of what experience are working best, you can change or fix tests much more rapidly. So how are we actually raising the bar? By using Clicktale's customer experience monitoring solution with your existing testing solutions, you can form a data-driven hypothesis and remove the guesswork around testing your website. Using aggregated and granular reports in real time to reduce time to results and understand the why behind the test results in order to know what tests to run next. Before I hand over, let's go back to the optimization cycle that we spoke about a couple of minutes ago. When we connect all the points we've discussed into the cycle, we create an organized methodology. Using Clicktale to view the in-page experience both on an aggregate and granular level to drive hypotheses of what's right or wrong on the page, we then test with Maxymiser. Once we have the results, we revert back to Clicktale's behavioral visualization to validate the changes that were made, and then we start again. As you all, site owners and facilitators, know best, there's no 100%. There's always something to improve on a website. This is also a great opportunity to use different user segments from within Maxymiser. For example, what converting versus non-converting visitors are doing on a page. On that note, I'd like to hand it over to Rachel, Partnership Manager at Maxymiser, who will introduce you to their tool and its part in the cycle we've just reviewed.
Great. So first I'll take you through a bit of background about Maxymiser and then dig a little bit deeper into the Maxymiser Clicktale optimization cycle that you just saw before handing it over to David Barker, who will take you through the joint solution with ServiceMaster. So Maxymiser has been around for over 10 years, but as many of you know, we've recently been acquired by Oracle and are now proudly formally part of the Oracle Marketing Cloud. So there are a few reasons why third-party analysts such as Forrester have rated Maxymiser as a leader in the space. For those of you not familiar with Maxymiser, we offer a solution that has a robust feature set combined with best-in-class usability. Whether you're a marketer and want to create easy tests within a WYSIWYG editor, or even multivariate tests within a WYSIWYG editor, or you're a technical geek and want to create complex tests, all of this can be achieved within the Maxymiser user interface. The platform offers a combination of testing, which includes simple A/B to complex multivariate testing, insights both pre and post-campaign, as well as personalization, which we'll touch on in just a moment. Some of you may just be starting out with testing. Others might be further along in your testing practice, but whatever it may be, I thought it might be useful to show you how our standard maturity curve looks and how our typical customers progress along it. Most clients start with simple A/B testing by optimizing aesthetics on a page, such as where to place buttons, call to actions, forms, or changing out colors, fonts, and images. Clients then move along the maturity curve into multivariate testing, which can involve testing multiple elements simultaneously. But really great value is moving up that maturity curve into multivariate testing across multiple pages in a conversion funnel. And this is relevant when it comes to, for example, an e-commerce site and testing out the shopping cart, or a travel site and optimizing the booking funnel. One highly underestimated value for testing is functionality testing, or the testing of third-party technologies on a site. We have many clients testing out live chat, for example, to determine whether it's successful in driving site conversions and revenue and worth the ROI. Other examples include product recommendations, customer feedback solutions, placement of Google AdWords, and use of email subscription lightboxes, and more. Now, moving further up, we get to personalization. And as you probably all know, personalization can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. To us, it could mean the use of our product recommendation solution, which is part of our solution set. But more often, it means testing out content based on what we know about you as a visitor. There's two ways to do this. First, it can be done with a rules-based approach. For example, targeting all visitors from New York with content different from those from, say, California, or new visitors versus returning visitors. But taking it a step further, the second approach is using an algorithmic one to identify visitors automatically, predictively, and targeting those segments with the right content to drive the highest ROI. And finally, the last stage is ensuring that all of this program is targeted to visitors no matter where they are across all devices, as well as exporting that data into third-party systems that can be used for other platforms. So let's go back to the optimization cycle that Mira presented earlier. At Maxymiser and at Clicktale, we both believe that data should drive decisions and not what we call the HIPPO approach, or the highest paid person's opinion, to determine where to test on a page. As you recall, Clicktale helped you identify where to begin a testing campaign through heat maps and session replay. But in addition to these solutions, Maxymiser also offers another data-driven approach to finding areas of opportunity, and that's through what we call the Customer Impact Discovery Report. The CID report takes the guesswork out of your testing efforts and helps you determine the segments where you may want to initiate a test. CID is an insight solution that reviews all of the data points provided by our clients and identifies the areas of opportunity or the low-hanging fruit. We look at all of your out-of-the-box data points that come intrinsically with your tag, as well as first-party data from a CRM import, or third-party data points from a DMP such as BlueKai or any others. We can then show you multi-attribute segments, their traffic share, and how each segment performs versus the average visitor on the site, whether they overperform or underperform. You can start, for example, with a high-level segment such as new visitors, and then drill down to see how visitors within that segment perform, such as new visitors on a specific browser who have a specific mobile device. So again, this is a tool to provide a data-driven approach to where to start a testing campaign. Now, moving along that optimization cycle, we now have a hypothesis and we implement a campaign. So let's see a client that has built hundreds, if not dozens, if not hundreds of successful testing campaigns. Harry and David is a long-standing Maxymiser customer that has literally optimized every aspect of their customer journey. They're a very seasonal player in e-commerce, with right about now is their heavy traffic season. And they have thousands of products to purchase that are available online. So what they've done is actually tested out or leveraged multivariate testing, leveraging a whole slew of elements on their homepage to optimize the customer experience. They have tested things like where to place the search bar, the location of the search bar, keywords within the search bar to use, images on the page, the product recommendations on the bottom, not only how many product recommendations to place, or what products to put, but how many to put, the placement of those product recommendations, verbiage, and so on. And what they've done is launched over 2,500 different experiences with these different elements. And what's interesting is that they didn't need statistical confidence on every single combination of element. They used what Maxymiser has, it's called an element level report, to identify which elements on the page actually drive the most value, giving them real solid information around what to show on their site. So the result has been a double-digit increase in both average order values and conversions onto the product page. So now you've run a test, you have some results, and you can use Clicktale to determine the why. Why did one variant perform differently than another? But in addition to this, we can take the optimization cycle a step further and dig down deep into your results. Now, most traditional testing campaigns will identify what was the highest performing variant on a page. And in this example that's shown here is an example of our segment discovery report. We're showing a report that looks at the default conversion rate on a page, which in this example is a 1.22% conversion rate. What the average site will do, or a test will do, will tell you what is the overall winner. And in this example, it's the default winner performed at a 1.22%. The overall winner performed at a 1.49%. But most platforms will tell you, go ahead, hardcode that to the site. That's great, wonderful, we have our winner. Well, hold on. We can actually take that one step further. What Maxymiser can do is automatically, algorithmically look at all of the attributes that you've collected about visitors, all of those out-of-the-box first-party and third-party data points, and automatically determine if there's a segment that performs better than the overall winner. There are multi-attribute segments where an alternative experience may have resonated more strongly. And in this example, we found and floated a segment number 7, where we've indicated that the visitor segment includes people that are coming in the morning, have more than 6 visits per week, may have been female and married, which is data we got from a DMP, as well as their winning experience, which includes a button color blue-green, and the offer is the web digital. If we were to render this experience to those visitors, we would bring the conversion rate all the way up. And if we were to render all of the 7 segments to those visitor segments that we found, if we were to render that content, we would deliver a 1.89% conversion rate over the 1.49%, which is way better than that one-size-fits-all approach. So that's all I have today. I'll now hand it over to David to take you through ServiceMaster's case study.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. So who is ServiceMaster? So ServiceMaster Global Holding Incorporated is headquartered in Memphis, Tennessee, and it's the parent company of 7 industry-leading brands, which are leading providers of residential and commercial services. So in the last 12 months, ServiceMaster has served around 5 million residential and commercial customers. We've visited more than 75,000 homes and businesses each day. ServiceMaster operates through an extensive network of more than 8,000 company-owned, franchise, and licensed locations, and we're a publicly traded company with a stock ticker of SERV. It includes Amerispec, who is a provider of residential home inspections, American Home Shield, a home warranty company, Furniture Medic, who provides residential and commercial furniture repair services, Mary Maids, who's a provider of residential cleaning services, ServiceMaster Clean, who provides janitorial and commercial cleaning services, and ServiceMaster Restore, who provides residential and commercial disaster restoration services. And finally, Terminex, who's a provider of residential and commercial termite and pest control services. Now back to this slide. The ServiceMaster companies have been A/B testing their content to enhance each customer's experience for years. We've accepted that every company really needs to be an internet company, even those that have been in business like us for 85 years that offer services that have nothing to do with the internet. Through our testing, we've learned, as many companies have, that whether their customers are researching, purchasing, or ordering services, they really want a choice in their customer journey. We found that many of our customers want and really expect their entire customer journey to be online. So in order to enable the best online experience, we recently moved all of our websites to the Oracle Web Commerce platform. But however good your web commerce platform is, it doesn't know what experience to deliver. That's where Clicktale and Maxymiser come in for us. We use Clicktale and Maxymiser together to identify which choices each customer wants and in which step of their journey they want those choices. ServiceMaster on Rachel's chart is somewhere between simple and advanced testing, but we're trying to and quickly driving into the personalization and the segmentation test. But in 2015, most of our tests are simple or advanced. And today I'd like to talk to you about some of the simple tests that moved into more advanced testing on our American Home Shield website. These series of tests has improved the customer journey for our customers who want to purchase home warranties online. So American Home Shield has increased its online conversion rate by 76 basis points by using Maxymiser and Clicktale so far in 2015. This was really accomplished by using a variety of tools, and it's the combination and the cooperation of these tools together that really enabled this effort to be successful. The test on ahs.com homepage and shopping funnel involved cosmetic changes to the website and the e-commerce purchase path. When one test was running, it was also important for us to ensure that the test didn't collide or influence the other tests. So in Maxymiser's ability to schedule the start and end of those tests was really key into making this happen. As we started looking at the heat maps and where do we want to conduct our test. So we used our web analytics tools that told us which pages had the most content, but we used Clicktale to see where on the page should we conduct those tests. And we used Maxymiser to actually conduct those tests. So equally important to avoiding collisions is the early reporting of the test results. So early test results will help you determine if the test should continue or if it should be reconfigured. I'm sure we'll all agree that it's important to know sooner rather than later if a test is failing or it's likely going to fail, so you don't waste time with a bad test. It's also important not to declare a winner too early. So if a test is showing positive results, you should let it run until statistical significance is reached. Calling a winner too early can mean you crown the wrong winner. We identified what to test, and we used the A/B testing in Maxymiser to evaluate 12 different button labels for the Get a Quote button in the upper right-hand corner. We quickly learned that there are too many test combinations and not enough traffic to get the meaningful results. So we reconfigured the test and showed the top 4 button labels, and this smaller test told us that changing the button label to Buy Warranty was most likely going to result in higher buy online conversion rates. And another button label of View Plans was the runner-up. Once these campaigns were put into production, we drilled into the steps of the funnel. We wanted to see if a consistent button label on the different steps of the funnel would show positive results. So we launched a new test with Buy Warranty on the home page and on step 1 and step 2 of the funnel. This proved to be a success, and the button labels were changed into the production environment and made permanent. The web analytics tools were telling us how many visitors moved through the purchase path and the conversion rate of each one of the steps. However, it wasn't clear what caused the visitors to drop out of any particular step. This is where Clicktale came in for us. It came in to tell us the answer to the why questions. So we looked at the heat maps, and we saw there was an opportunity on step 1. We asked around to see what ideas were already in circulation about how to improve step 1, and we found another team had coded a new step 1 layout before we even had Maxymiser. But that test of the step 1 layout was never launched because the measurement of the test itself required some additional coding to set GA events so we could actually measure the results of the test. Even if this coding was done, it wasn't clear the results would be worth the time and the development the development team would have to dedicate to the effort. It would also be difficult to understand the why the new layout won or lost just using the GA events. So the new step 1 layout sat on the shelf while other projects with more likely outcomes were worked on by the IT team. So once we arrived at this point in our testing process to test the step 1 page, we picked up where the other team left off and used Maxymiser to test the new layout with some content modifications. In order to see if the new layout was truly better, we created 2 different versions. One version, which we called Buy Warranty, has the new form design with the same call to action button as the default or the control version. Version 2, we'll call View Plans, has the same new form design, but a different call to action of View Plans because it was the runner-up in the previous test. This was really done to see if we could tell if the results of the test were due more to the new layout or to the call to action button label. Because the new layout was coded so long ago, the call to action button label was out of date on that previously coded version based on those earlier A/B Maxymiser tests. Some people would say that changing the button label is pretty simple, and technically it is when you have a developer available to do it, but I didn't have one. So Maxymiser helped me modify the button label in both versions without having to interrupt our development team and take them off of other projects. This was really important to us because it was great for me in marketing. If I didn't have that, I would not have been able to launch the test as quickly as I did. So as I mentioned before, it's important for us to understand the why the test won and why it lost. Understanding why the test performed the way it did was made possible by integrating Clicktale and Maxymiser together. This combination of tools allowed us to drill into specific visitor experiences deeper than we ever could before. And this was really the second great thing, because being able to go directly into Clicktale and quickly find the session that was involved in a specific Maxymiser test was a huge help to us in figuring out the why a test performed the way it did. So once we built the test in Maxymiser, we ran it for about 2 weeks, and we were pretty surprised by the results. After 12 days, we had statistical results in Maxymiser that showed us that the new layout with the View Plans layout was really the loser. The new layout with Buy Warranty showed kind of positive results, but they weren't really statistically significant. Before the test started, I really expected both the Buy Warranty and the View Plan layouts to be the winner. I actually expected Buy Warranty to be a little better than the View Plans version, just because that button label had worked so well on previous tests. So as you can see in the chart, the Buy Warranty, or the blue line, was an early leader by a fairly good margin. The View Plans version, the orange line, also outperformed Control, which was the gray line. But around day 5, View Plans started underperforming versus Control, but By Warranty was still the clear leader. Around day 9, By Warranty's winning margin started to decrease, and the View Plans losing margin started to increase. And nothing else changed during the course of this test. Nothing significant with our traffic or any of the other campaigns driving traffic to the site. So on day 12, the View Plans test reached 95% confidence, and so we paused the test to try to understand why View Plans layout did so much worse than the By Warranty layout. We dug into the Clicktale reports to understand the why. We used the form analytics reports and the heat maps to see how visitors were interacting with our View Plans test. We also used another report in form analytics called the blank fields reports, which showed us that on average, the Control version, 3 fields were left blank in that experience, compared to only 2 fields being left blank in the View Plans and the By Warranty test. So this was telling us that the new layout was actually performing a little bit better than the old layout. What was also really nice is that we liked how Clicktale had identified each field with the same numbering convention on the page as it did in the report. We also looked at the refill report to see if more visitors were going back to a certain field to complete a particular form field. But it too showed that the new layout performed better than the Control. So again, we were stuck with a question as to why was View Plans performing so much worse than By Warranty. It wasn't until we watched the recordings in each of the test experiences that we realized that the View Plans button was causing visitors to click before actually filling out the form. This behavior of them clicking before filling out the form is what decreased the overall conversion rates for the View Plans test. So here in this video, you can see the visitors coming through. The first thing they did was click on View Plans. They click on it again, and then they get a little frustrated and really start to click that button, and there's still nothing's happening on the page. So with their frustration, they eventually leave. We didn't see the same behavior in the By Warranty recordings. So in seeing this difference in the behavior inside of Clicktale really answered the question as to why the View Plans layout did so much worse than the By Warranty layout. And it's important to note that we probably would have never known the why the View Plans button label didn't work without the ability to drill into this specific Clicktale recording. We would have known that the View Plans button label didn't work and probably tried a different button label, not realizing what we needed to do was to create a completely different experience for a different segment of visitors. So going back into Maxymiser segmentation, we just discovered that new visitors in the View Plans test had the lowest conversion rates. Now we know that new visitors want to see plan information before providing any of their property information, and that we should create a new visitor experience to help match the needs of these visitors. So what you see on the right-hand side of the page is just a concept of how we would change the form to help drive for new visitors only. Post-test, this really makes intuitive sense because a new visitor to the site may not have had time to research what a home warranty plan is and what it covers. They may not be ready to actually buy the warranty at that particular moment. However, returning visitors the next day or the following week or even the following month have 2 times the conversion rates of the new visitors. This too makes intuitive sense because a returning visitor most likely has had time to compare all the necessary notes and conduct all the necessary research, and they've made their decision before arriving on the page. So how should we take action on this information? Our next step will be to create a new visitor layout and launch that test only for that new visitor segment, one that really introduces the plans and instructs the visitors that they need to provide some property information so that we can provide them the customized quote for their particular property. We also need to tweak the layout a little bit so that the popular content is above the fold and relaunch the test to see if the new layout is truly better. So in closing, we feel that combining all these tools together has really helped us improve our ability to identify, test, and deliver a better customer experience based on facts. This is evidenced by that 76 basis point improvement in our online conversion rates for American Home Shield in 2015. We see that using these technologies together with ServiceMaster's unmatched network of real embedded employees, our national scale, our franchisees and our contractors who actually do the work is really going to help us catch up in the online world and gain a competitive advantage quickly. So thank you for your time today, and I'll pass it back over to Anna for Q&A.
Excellent. Thank you, David, Mayra, and Rachel for those presentations. That was really great. And we will just jump right into Q&A. So we got a few questions regarding mobile, so I thought I'd offer this up to all of you. Maybe Rachel, if you want to start with, Maxymiser's offering for testing and personalizing on mobile sites and apps, and then Mayra, you can jump in, and then David, if you want to add anything about your experience with running tests on mobile devices, that would be great.
Sure. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, Maxymiser does support mobile for sure. We support both mobile web and responsive sites as well as mobile apps.
And this is David. So absolutely, we haven't used it in a particular test per se, but we have used it to fix things. So we noticed that at one point there was a release that had caused a slight error and moved the phone number into a menu that was on the mobile page. And so we were able to really, like within an hour of noticing the error, go back and launch a test at 100% and fix the content that was on the page. And that just would not have been possible any other way. It would have probably, that error would have existed for at least 24 to 48 hours if we hadn't had the Maxymiser tool there. So, but we are planning some mobile tests.
So here at Clicktale, we also definitely track mobile. We track visitors on all devices. We even have a custom set of heat maps, tap exposure, and attention tracking, basically tracking specific behaviors unique to mobile devices.
Excellent. Thank you all. Okay, next question is for Mayra. How can I make sure I have enough Clicktale data for my tests?
That's a great one. We actually have a feature specifically designed for that. You don't know that the visitor is important until he visits your site and until we track him. So we track every visitor from the start, and then we only save what really counts. We do this based on events. So then we have 100% of the sessions that matter most to you, and that gives us a really good synchronized view across all the analytics and marketing data.
Great. Thank you, Mayra. Next question is for David. What is the organizational structure of your optimization team, and can you offer any advice on how to structure those teams?
Sure. So we're on a team that is 7 different subgroups. So we have e-commerce, we have myself, testing and analytics, we have a separate team for email, one for web content, we have strategy, SEO, and overall digital marketing. And what's really been effective for us has been the agile development methodology that our IT team has adopted. And they included the digital marketing team in that agile development methodology. And so our Scrum team leaders it's very effective to have those people be part of our team. So they're actually marketing employees, but they interface with the IT teams and the development teams on a daily basis. And so that enables us to quickly get things that they would like to have tested launched, and then allows us to get our test results back to the development team so they can code things into production very quickly. And so that that agile methodology between the marketing and the IT teams has really worked for us.
Excellent. Thank you, David. Okay, and our final question is for Rachel. Rachel, can MVT or multivariate tests, funnel tests, can MVT funnel tests be shown in Clicktale?
Yes, it can. So that's a great question. So a lot of our clients are using testing across multiple pages in that conversion funnel, and all of the variations across that multi-funnel tests can definitely be shown within Clicktale using the Maxymiser Clicktale integration.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our speakers. Thanks again, and we hope to see you next time.